Like
Ubisoft is a piece of shit.
Well, yeah, like everybody...
They're constantly canceling everything that's coming out on the Wii U, or delaying it, or
rushing it.
The Wii U version of every game that come out is coming out later, or has been canceled, or like this, or when a game comes out on every platform, they'll be like, well, on the Wii U version, all the DLC is canceled.
The only Ubisoft game I've really been like super happy about, like in a pure manner, has been the Rayman Origins and Legends games.
But Wander, don't you just love Uplay?
Yeah. I had cash set aside to buy Rayman Legends a week and a half from launch, and then got headlines saying I have to wait like 6 months for it to come out because they're just like, nah, fuck you, Wii U users. The game's done and ready to come out, but you're gonna have to wait for everyone else's version to come out now.
Well, to be fair, I waited pretty much like 7 months to pick it up for $30 instead of the full 60. So
yeah, but I mean, like, that's something that happened. Is like everyone who wanted it on the Wii U, like they were all ready to buy it because it was coming out in like a week, and then they're like, oh, now it's delayed till we make every other port instead. I'm like, you assholes.
Black mark against the publisher, but score 1 for making a damn good game. But I guess that would be the studio.
Like,
what is that?
Job,
Ubisoft
developer.
Montreal.
Sorry, you're tied to shit.
Yeah,
I'm at the point where, for me, what really matters is either the device that I'm playing a game on looks amazingly stunning, which a console can never provide for me because computers exist, or it gives me the ability to do something that's really mundane and tiring, but being able to do it with fun. And like that, the Wii U does that, because I can go take a shit and play a game on the Wii U, and that's the most important thing to me. Is like, I can go into the bathroom.
I don't want you playing my Wii in your bathroom.
You know what? Then you're not here often enough to fucking care. So
it's my console,
dude. I beat Rayman. Playing taking a shit. That was how I beat Rayman.
Seabass, just want to point out, you might want to get a black light installed in your bathroom.
Yep.
It's just like I completely beat a game sitting on the toilet. Like, that was the only time I played it, and that was the best experience of my life. Like, there was nothing. And out of
Keith
all my
is
years,
just crying to himself.
Out of all my years of gaming, it's true. You should. Out of all my years of gaming, I've never had that much fun playing a game than when I was on the toilet playing a game, because I was like, yeah, and it was just great.
I always get back to the toilet.
Rayman Legends might be my favorite game of 2013.
I actually haven't played it yet.
Just a bummer that it's by Ubisoft.
I played the original Rayman, but I've never actually.
Like, Ubisoft is showing with Assassin's Creed that they're more than happy to do the Tony Hawk / Guitar Hero / Call of Duty shit that's happened with Activision that they get so much slag for, because they keep putting out for a while they're putting out one Assassin's Creed every single year. Now they're hitting the point where they're putting out an additional, like, smaller or portable version the same year. So now there's 2 games a year. And
that seems really weird to me.
Those games are baffling to play because they're just jam-packed with just weird features that don't have any apparent purpose, that are just there because it was just someone's idea at some point, and then they never finished the idea or never thought about whether or not it should be in there anymore. So like there's a whole thing where you can, like, in Assassin's Creed 3, you can basically run a ranch and like have like a trade post and like have all these systems set up, and it's like, it's completely superfluous to the game, has no apparent purpose, and it's super complicated and like incomprehensible to even figure out how it works, and it's just sort of there because these aren't games that are made with like a 3-year cycle where they can like iron everything out and everything makes sense in it. There's just weird noise in the development.
I've actually heard from like developers about how they made the game, and they actually made a really bad development like oops, where they put everybody in small rooms and told them to work on a specific part of the game. And so you could be working on like running, and later on you'll find running isn't a good one, but like say you're working on like the main plot of the game, and you will find out, they like found out 30 days from release that there was this whole the trading post section, I think even was, nobody knew about it outside that small group and like the creative directors, and they weren't telling people that they're working on this, like, oh, by the way, you should know about this. Like, they weren't telling the designers. They had a core design team for the trading post that did not speak to the designers of the world building, and it was just this kind of like weird, we're not going to communicate with everybody because we're trying to get this done as fast as possible. So nobody knew anything about anything, and so it felt the game felt kind of hodgepodgey, like you're talking about, because the developers were hodgepodgey, and that was really stupid on their part.
That seems like I don't understand how you would imagine anything massive would get built that way.
It's a super patchwork, fucked up assembly line way of dealing with the fact that they're tasked with the idea of making a free roaming like GTA style game on an annual basis.
Yeah,
which is the worst idea.
I'm trying to imagine a company building a skyscraper, but they break up the skyscraper into 3 pieces and give it to 3 different companies, and they're like, okay, now put it together when you're done. And it's like, no.
It's just such a bummer because the first Assassin's Creed game, I just found it fascinating. It was such a tightly designed, like everything worked in it and made sense, and it was a cool idea to me.
Yeah,
and then
people.
ever since then, they just keep making weird things. Like they started just having currency. Like they started in like, oh, Fable had a thing where you could just buy buildings for some reason and make money off them. We'll just do that in every Assassin's Creed now. And for a while, like freaking Ezio Auditore in the Assassin's Creed 2 trilogy he apparently owned all of Italy and Rome and Europe by the end of that trilogy. Like I bought everything ever and just owned it, and it's like, why am I buying these things?
I believe it.
Have infinite money. I'm like, this isn't the story you're telling with these games, so why is it even a feature? Also, how is he the secret shadowy figure if he's like involved in everything else?
Yeah, the most wealthy realtor in the planet, just like, I own all of a country. No one knows who I am, though.
The only time I would like that
help.
in a game is if you could buy the villain's castle as like an alternate ending and a victim.
I couldn't help notice that it took, like, I haven't played 4 yet, and really I barely played 3 because it was just so bad, but I bought Assassin's Creed 4 Freedom Cry on my PS4, which is like the standalone expansion that they made. And I couldn't help but notice that since I'm playing as an ex-slave black guy, suddenly I can't buy all the property in this game. I'm like, oh no! For the first time playing an Assassin's Creed game in like 5 years, I can't own the entire city. And it's because I'm a
because
guy,
you're black?
Yeah.
That's not true, is it?
It is during slave times.
That is the worst fucking mechanic to take away.
It's a game where you're playing as a black guy trying to liberate slaves, and you can't. And because of that, you can't own property. It's like,
what happened? Like,
this is when you decide to get rid of that feature.
So when you walk up to someone's house, and you're like, "Get out of here, boy!" like
just a weirdly dark realization.
It's like, don't you got fields to go to crop or something like that? I don't know what black people do. Fuck, you know.
Okay, not quite on the topic of games, but I was watching a commercial for a cruise to the Bahamas, I believe it was. And it's white people partying. You know, vodka, beer, they're not wearing much. And it shows, you know, white couples, white friends, white teenagers, and they're all partying and having a great time. And then up walks a black butler.
Oh boy.
With some booze. And it's like, yeah, it's the Bahamas. There was not a single Asian person, Indian person, Hispanic person, black person, you know, just across the board. It was white people partying and black people serving them. And I was sitting there, it's like, it's 2014, and we still have this kind of weird subtext of slavery still going on in advertising, because apparently white people are the most attractive prospect to go from.
Wait, I mean, I don't want to seem like a cynic here, but we also, like, in 2014, most of the things that sell anything are sex related.
Come to the Bahamas for your summer.
I bet you,
bastion of segregation.
I bet you if that cruise commercial had a chick with big tits wearing a bikini dancing next to the black butler, you would probably have a million sales.
I'd definitely buy it.
That's our
right
entire thumbnail strategy on Sad Games.
Yeah, it honestly is.
I've noticed.
If
there are boobs here. Click on us.
If you put tits on something, the internet comes to it. Like, I don't know why, because it's not like it's real, but they will come to it. Like,
I was about to point out that the gender of the character on the thumbnail of our videos is with a deciding factor in how much people click on it. Then I noticed the fact that our most popular videos lately are animals.
Yeah.